Today we're going to talk about the most exciting topic in Spanish, the preterite versus the imperfect. One way to think of the preterite is by looking at a timeline and thinking about events that happened in the past. And these are events that started in the past and ended in the past. For example, in 1985, I was born. It happened on a day in January in 1985, and it's not going to happen again because you're only born once. In 1999, I went to Spain. Now, I've been to Spain a couple of times, but this is a specific time in the past where I went to Spain. In 2003, I graduated from high school. Again, something that started in the past and ended in the past, only happened once, because hopefully you only graduate from high school once. And in 2007, I graduated from college. Again, I can think of the specific day, June 12th, 2007, where I graduated from college. The imperfect, we think more about a continuous timeline where things don't necessarily have specific dates in which they ended, or it didn't just happen once in the past. For example, from 1985 until 1990, I lived in Moreno Valley. A small suburb of Riverside, and then I moved to San Ramon. From 1996 to 1999, I went to Iron Horse Middle School. There are three really important rules to remember when you're using preterite versus imperfect, and the easiest way to remember them is just TWA. So whenever you're talking about a time in the past, so for example, it was 8:20 when something happened, you always use the imperfect to talk about time. So for example, eran las 8:30. Another important rule to remember is that you always use the imperfect when talking about weather in the past. So if you want to talk, it's basically talking about a description of something you did in the past and the weather being a piece of that description. So if you want to talk about how it was hot in Hawaii in a vacation that you went on, you would say hacía calor. If you want to say that it rained, you'd say llovía. One last rule that is always used for the imperfect is when you're talking about an age. So if you want to talk about something that happened in the past when you were a certain age, you'd never use the preterite. You'd always use the imperfect. For example, if I want to say that I went to Spain when I was 14, yo fui a España cuando tenía 14 años.